It doesn't matter if you're in retail, the restaurant industry, working as a janitor, or on the assembly line. It's up to you to help sell your company, your skills, your products, and ultimately, yourself. So start asking yourself today, no matter the position, how can I start bringing in new business? Welcome to another episode of the Workforce Link podcast, where we're offering forward-thinking conversations for the workforce, linking employers and job seekers to a brighter tomorrow. I'm your host, Sunday Jo Graham with the Central Workforce Development Region, and I am excited to be back with you for another episode of the podcast. So, here you are. You're getting that raise that you've been waiting for. And what's even better? You didn't even have to ask for it. A spontaneous raise is not usually in the cards, but it can be. Most raises depend on a variety of certain factors, not just whether or not you deserve one. None of us are guaranteed a raise unless, you've signed some specific contract that says so. Especially a raise we're not really even expecting. But there are some things that you can do to get yourself closer to that raise without perhaps even having to ask. We're going to dive deeper into those things on today's episode of the Workforce Link podcast. Before we dive in, though, I would love for you to share this podcast with others. Whether you're sharing with another business owner or a team member who needs a little help pushing through, let them know about this podcast, would you? We want to help as many people as possible when in the workforce, and word of mouth is the best way to make that happen. You and your friends can listen to the Workforce Link podcast on pretty much any platform, Spotify, Apple, on our website at theworkforcelink.com. We're everywhere, so it's pretty easy for you to spread the word, okay? And thank you so much for being willing to tell others about it. And I have one more question before we get started today. Are you looking for career training without even having to leave the house? Well, guess what? I've got some good news for you. We've recently launched the Career Club, a virtual work experience for job seekers ages 14 to 24. So here's how it works. We assist you with job seeking skills, how to meet employer expectations, personal management skills, money management principles, good work habits. Those are just a few of the things. After training is complete, you receive job placement, allowing you to implement your newly developed skills. And here's the really cool part. You get paid while you learn. That's right. You receive $13 an hour while participating in the virtual training, with possible transition to a higher wage upon job placement. This is an exciting opportunity to earn while you learn. To sign up or learn more, visit cwdregion.com/career club. That's cwdregion.com/career club. All right, so let's dig into today's episode on how to get a raise without asking. So the first thing you want to do is make your boss look good. There's nothing that will get you noticed faster than making sure your boss is the one who gets noticed first. And never make your boss look like he or she doesn't know what they're doing, especially in a public setting. Show up with a servant's attitude, willing to make them the star. That doesn't mean that you have to pretend they're perfect. There's a time and a place for that, and it's definitely not in a public setting, okay? But if you have an opportunity to make your manager or leader look good, take that opportunity. Let's use an example of working in retail. So the owner of the store comes down, right, to check things out, and you've just made a huge sale. Make sure to credit your direct boss for helping to make that a success. Because guess what? If your boss becomes a favorite of the owner, guess who he or she will probably remember when it comes time for that promotion or time for that raise? You, right? So make your boss look good. Number 2, be an expert. So here's what I mean by this. You don't have to go and be an expert on everything, but become an expert on one thing. Become really great at that one thing. Obviously, you want it to be related to the field, that you're currently working in. You don't want to become an expert on welding, right? If you're working in healthcare, and your boss probably doesn't need to know that you can drive a forklift with perfection if you're working in accounting. I mean, hey, those things could possibly come in handy. You never know. But your goal here is to become the person that your boss and everybody else needs to go to when they're learning how to solve a problem related to the topic that you know everything about. So, if you're a CNA who's found a more efficient way to distribute medications to the residents, share that. Be ready to answer those questions about that specific thing. If you want to stand out even more as the expert, don't wait for everybody else to realize that there's an issue. If you have solved the problem, take that to your boss and show them what you've come up with. Show them that you've solved the problem. Sometimes they might not even know the problem needs solved until you've shown them that you have the answer, right? Maybe you're working in customer service. Well, solve the problem for your customer or your client before they even know the problem exists. Like I just said, happy customers, guess what? Means more profits. More profits means more money. More money means more room for a raise for who? You, right? I hope you're enjoying this episode as much as I am. I wanted to interrupt for just a minute to invite you to check out our Central Missouri Job Centers. With 8 different locations throughout the Central region, we have an excited staff waiting to assist you with all of your employment-related needs. Columbia, Rolla, Jefferson City, Lebanon, Lake of the Ozarks, and more. Whether you're looking for employment, want to go back to school and earn an education, or you're an employer trying to find your next great team member, our Job Center staff can help. Find your closest Job Center location today at cwdregion.com/jobcenters. That's cwdregion.com/jobcenters. Now, back to the show. All right, number 3, bring in new business. So you might be thinking here, Sunday Joe, I really don't need to listen to this one because I'm not in sales. And I would say to you, I totally understand that, and I hate sales. But you're wrong. Everybody is in sales, whether they know it or not. You had to sell yourself in the interview when you were applying for the job. You're selling yourself every time you put your skills to use. This goes back to something I said in a previous episode, 5 ways to keep your team motivated. I told the story of a previous company that I worked for, and their motto was act like an owner. I'm sharing this. I'll share the links to that show in the show notes, but I'm sharing this to say, if you want to continue to help strengthen the company you're working for, because more profit means a greater increase of a raise for you, right? Then you need to ask yourself this question. How would I handle this situation if I were the owner? You got to shift your mindset to take some ownership, right? If the company isn't making money, guess what? You're not getting a raise. So why would you not contribute in every area that you can? Tell people about what you're doing. What does your company offer? What do you love about their products? And this doesn't matter about the position you're in, whether you're working in retail or the restaurant industry, or you're working as a janitor or on the assembly line. It's all the same. Maybe not the same products, right? But it's up to you to sell your company. It's up to you to sell your skills, your products, and ultimately yourself. So start asking yourself this question today, no matter the position. How can I start bringing in new business? All right, number 4, you want to become irreplaceable. So before I dive into this one, I want to say to us all, okay, don't get a big head, because we are all replaceable, and that will not change. There's always somebody out there who can do our job, right? If not better. That's just the reality of it. But you can work with integrity and attitude that makes your boss truly see you as irreplaceable. Go out of your way to do your job. Go out of your way to do more. Show your boss that you have incentive to truly invest in the company, because you make yourself stand out for good reason, and you won't even have to ask for a raise. It'll come to you many, many times. You want your boss to realize that losing you would not just decrease productivity in the company, but it's going to decrease their profit margin. Show up and do your job, then go above and beyond, and it will pay off, literally. Make yourself stand out so that you don't even have to ask for a raise. All right, so let's do a quick recap of this quick episode today on what we covered to help you get a raise without asking. Number 1, make your boss look good. Number 2, become an expert. Number 3, bring in new business. And number 4, become irreplaceable. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer here. I can't promise that you're going to get a raise, okay? But I can tell you that if you implement these steps, your chances are much greater. And I would say even more so today, where companies are desperate to not just keep employees, but get employees. You show that you're worth investing in and sticking it out, and your employer is going to take notice. I have a family member right now who went to work in the fast food industry recently. That's one of the hardest industries to work in right now. People are quitting left and right. I mean, they're constantly short-staffed. And he's been one of the first to volunteer to stay and work overtime. And guess what? He's been pretty excited about his paycheck because he is getting tons of overtime. But what's even cooler is management has also taken notice, and he's received 2 promotions. Things are looking really good for him because he's willing to make his company look good. Yes, he reaps some benefits of that, but if he continues to do that, guess what? He's going to continue to grow. So, I hope that was helpful. That's it for us today. If it was helpful, please share with others. And if you haven't already, don't forget to leave us a review, preferably 5-star. Have a great week, and we will meet again in the next episode. Until then, remember this: there's always a brighter tomorrow if you're willing to find it. The Central Region Workforce Development Board Incorporated and COPIC are equal opportunity employers and programs. Auxiliary aids and services are available upon request to individuals with disabilities. Missouri Relay Services at 711.